This is ridiculous. As every Raptors fan has heard, Jontay Porter is currently under investigation for tanking games, for betting against himself. We've all heard the story. And while that's a serious offense and it should be taken extremely seriously by the NBA and the players, whoever makes these decisions and how to discipline these actions, what Adam Silver came out and recently said was a serious threat, and frankly, I think just a little bit ridiculous in regards to the punishment suiting the crime. So we'll break down what Adam Silver had to say regarding the Jontay Porter situation, as well as an update regarding Scottie Barnes potentially returning for the last couple games this season, and a little look at last night's performance as Gradey Dick setting records for himself. So lots of stuff to break down. Before we do, folks, again, over 51% of our viewers are not subscribed to the channel, and we want to keep you up to date with all of the latest and Toronto Raptors news. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with everything. But the first thing we're taking a look at is Adam Silver making a serious threat to Jontay Porter. Now, if you don't know what's going on with Jontay Porter, why he hasn't been playing, basically, there's some betting irregularities regarding some Jontay Porter player prop bets. So you could bet on these websites and stuff whether a player is going to score more points or less points than a specific number, or more rebounds, less rebounds, more three-point shots, less three-point shots. So that's something you can bet on. You can bet decent money on it, and apparently a bunch of people made a killing off of Jontay Porter, the under. So betting against him in games where he just suddenly left with mysterious injuries, an eye injury and illness, and apparently in these sports books, they made a killing off these random Jontay Porter bets. So it's a really sketchy. You can look at previous videos on the channel if you want the full breakdown in terms of what's going on. And frankly, there's no excuse for it if it's actually the case. Again, it's all alleged. It's still being investigated, I think, at this point. So, well, it is clearly because of what Adam Silver's saying. So it's not official, but if it's true, and the circumstantial evidence is doesn't put Jontay Porter in a great light, but if that's the case, that sucks. It's a stupid move by Jontay Porter to be betting against himself when he's not a star. When you're just a casual NBA player, it's trying to find his footing, especially with such a great story in the NBA. That is all true. And he should be punished if that's the case. It comes out, it's provably true that Jontay Porter made and bet against the Toronto Raptors, bet against himself, all of these types of things. But Adam Silver came out and basically said this. Adam Silver says Jontay Porter is accused of a cardinal sin, and that punishment for it could go up to banishment from the league. So this is what Adam Silver's coming out and saying. And again, I think if the evidence is true, there should be a serious sort of punishment in regards to Jontay Porter's ability to play, a suspension, something along those lines. But banishment from the league. We have players taking PEDs in the NBA. Juicing themselves up, going up against the cardinal sins in the league, making an unfair advantage. I guess this is an unfair disadvantage and all that type of stuff, but PEDs. We have players off the court, with some serious accusations to domestic stuff, all of these types of things where, again, serious punishments come into play. A 25-game suspension, a year-long suspension, a multi-year suspension, all of these types of things. And again, I don't want to downplay what Jontay Porter is doing. Like, if it is and ends up being the case. But are we really saying that what Jontay Porter, what he did to the game, to being in this league, is comparable to what a Miles Bridges potentially did, in regards to allegations in terms of what came out? Again, there's a lot of legal stuff going on. All this has to be provably true and all that. But are they super compared? One guy, there was no real question about being banished from the league, kicked out, all that type of stuff. And then Jontay Porter, who again, the player prop bets is a role player with all the gambling ads, all that stupid stuff we see on every single game. Most of these podcasts now on YouTube and stuff, which you try to stay away from now at this point after learning more about it over the summer. Like, are we really going to punish Jontay Porter more than people in these serious sort of examples? And again, not that this isn't serious, but banishment from the league? That's a bit crazy to me. I get they want to set a tone, they want to put their foot down on stuff like this, but keep that same energy when other stuff worse than what Jontay Porter did is coming to light and coming out there to the league. But that's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. I've seen a lot of differing takes on that, but just wanted to say that it's a bit ridiculous that what I saw from Jontay Porter. Again, not condemning or not saying that what he did is fine and all good, but if it ends up being true, but I don't know. Banishment from the league seems a bit excessive. Next thing we're taking a look at is the truth about a Scottie Barnes return. Basically, we got some word the other day about Darko Rajakovic come and say that Scottie Barnes as well as Jakob Poeltl are ramping up their encore training. They're trying to get back into game shape. They're trying to get back into the mix for this Toronto Raptors group to close out the season now. There's only a couple games left in the year, and still no Scottie, still no Poeltl, and Darko gave an update in terms of we can expect Scottie Barnes to return to the lineup. And basically, Scottie Barnes got some shots pregame up today. Coach Rajakovic said that he's now in the reconditioning phase and has been using his left hand again. He says he's progressing very well, but it's possible, but not realistic for him to return and play this season again. Only a couple games left. We are pretty well locked into that sixth best odds. If the Raptors win their last two and the Nets lose their last two, then there's a chance we could still lose it. But other than that scenario, the Raptors are locked into the sixth worst odds for the NBA lottery. So not much in terms of the tank that can be done left for this group, with maybe one more loss and stuff. So let's try to win these last couple games, or at least one of these last couple games to make stuff happen, but not at the risk of re-injuring Scottie Barnes' hand. It's good news that he's sort of ready for a full offseason of development, of training, and all that type of stuff, but personally, I don't expect him to be back for this season. So that's an update there. Final thing we're discussing is Gradey Dick setting records in last night's performance. Now, I wanted to get a post-game up. I've been absolutely, I don't know what flu or whatever I got. I had a crazy migraine yesterday. My sleep schedule's all messed up, so couldn't get a video out yesterday. I apologize for the weird timing of uploads and stuff like that. Feeling a lot better today, so that's a positive. But basically, got a game last night though. The Raptors played the Brooklyn Nets. A fun one. The Nets ended up edging out the Toronto Raptors, but had some big moments for IQ as well as Gradey Dick. And IQ, obviously, 32 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, just being an absolute monster for the Toronto Raptors. We'd love to see that. Not super efficient from the field, but Gradey Dick, 24 points in last night's game, 4 rebounds, 1 turnover, just knocking down some threes, 6 of 14 from behind the three-point line, 9 of 20. Nice to see Gradey Dick, especially at the close of the season, get some reps up. Again, after having that groin injury, nice to see him sort of have a couple games now, hopefully, to close off this year. Carry some momentum over into next season, because he had the slow start to the season, but this year really improved. Like 2024 improved as the season went along. So that was a huge positive. JFL off the bench tonight. I thought he also had a solid game. 12 points. Jordan Ward doing his thing. Not a whole lot of major takeaways to take from these closing games of the season, but Abaji also had a couple of really nice drives. Bullied Dennis Schroeder in the paint, 1 possession, 7 points, still doing this thing on the defensive end. That's all great. Garrett Temple, he's been fun to watch for this team to close off this year, but again, it's not really a part of the future in terms of development projects. He's like 37 years old, but not the greatest performance for him. And Malik Williams got a few points, being in the starting lineup for this team. 7 points. 3 of 10 from the field, but he was struggling to put in some buckets his first couple games. So nice to see him get some buckets down. Mohamed Ugay is still really, really, really struggling, but 4 fouls, 3 points, and 1 of 7 shooting for a big man. That's horrible efficiency. Jalen McDaniels, 3 points. The Raptors are not deep right now. There's no confusing Raptors fans. There's a lot of depth, but the guys that surely will be in the rotation, surely will be a part of this team's future, and Gradey Dick, Emmanuel quickly, RJ Barrett have been awesome to close off the season. RJ didn't play last night, but that's some positive. That's something good to see. But let me know what you guys think about this Toronto Raptors sort of performance close out the year, all the Jontay Porter stuff. You guys are best to make it as far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. I'm signing out. Cheers.